The LCF Group in Floyd, Virginia is developing the Bugbook Historical Microcomputer Museum. This is a small part of the collection that David Larsen acquired during the past 40 years while he was teaching at Virginia Tech. We're developing the display in the Village Green in Floyd, Virginia. We're located in Suite 8, part of the LCF Group operation, and also we call this the Floyd Professional Center. The name Bugbook comes about because of the series of about 80 books that the Blacksburg Group produced during the 70s and 80s, which David was a part of. There were books that were translated into German, Japanese, and Italian. Bugbook 3, written by Peter Roney, and the associated computer designed by my colleague John Titus of all the Blacksburg Group, was the first book ever written for microcomputer education. John also designed the computer, the Mark 8, which was considered to be the first computer ever available for home computer use. John also designed the teaching computer, the MMD-1. Here you see the prototype, and then the final production version along with another trainer. These are on display here in the Bugbook Computer Museum. John Titus's original Mark 8 is on display in the Smithsonian Institution. Part of David's historical collection consists of about 1,000 calculators, which his brother Chris helped him acquire. About 100 of these are on display in the Bugbook Computer Museum in the Village Green. This display in the Village Green of nearly 400 items was designed by Amber Ingham while she worked for the LCF Group as a summer intern during the summer of 2011. Amber's done a beautiful job of setting up our display of computers, calculators, also written a storyboard, and part of the display consists of about 70 vacuum tubes which we acquired over the years. These tubes represent the past 100 years, including Edison lamps, and are very interesting here in the display. What you'll find in the museum here is a number of firsts in the microcomputer electronic industry. Some of the first development systems, the first portable systems, the first IBM. You'll also find some wonderful storyboards that Amber Ingham has written telling the story about these computers. They're on display in the wooden cases and other cases. Also, you'll find some early electronic items like the crystal radio and tube radio set here in the Village. Here's a wooden case that was designed to house the first Apple I microcomputer. And here's the PET Commodore computer that was a predecessor to the VIC-20 computer many of you use. Here's the first full kit that one could buy in 1985 and build your own computer. Here's the first IBM personal PC, 1981. The display also includes the famous first issues of Byte magazine and Kilobaud, the very early microcomputer magazines. Here's one of the first portable computers. We called them luggable in the mid-80s. A very special thing in the collection is a slide rule given to me by Bernie Coveney here in Floyd, Virginia. It belonged to his father, and he wanted me to put it here in the collection. Computers were copied. Here's a knockoff clone of the Apple II by a foreign company. Here's the first IBM luggable computer, very large one, and a core memory from the 60s and 70s. Here's the first IBM Junior. PC Junior was never very successful. Of course, gaming computers were popular. Here's several of the early gaming computers from the 80s. And, of course, one of the computers that made Apple famous was a Macintosh computer. Here's the Macintosh from the 80s and 90s. Radio Shack became involved in microcomputers in the early 80s. Here's a laptop computer. And going even further back, here's a mini computer trainer by Digital Equipment Corporation from the 60s. There were many people that made trainers during the 70s and 80s. And here you see the first color Radio Shack computer. During the early 90s, my wife Ginelle and I traveled in the Soviet Union. Here's a Russian computer given to us by the president of Ulyanovsk Technical Institute on the Volga River. The Bugbook Computer Museum on display consists of many engineering development systems and training computers that we've collected over the years. Sure you'll enjoy visiting our museum collection here in the Village Green in Floyd, Virginia. We look forward to having you stop by and take a look at history and old times past.